Hi everyone, welcome to our training session. Thanks for joining us today. Um, I'm Miguel Celis, I'm engineer, a pre-sales engineer here at Comp, and today I will be your trainer. So I hope you have a great time with us. We are going to have like 2 hours of training. Today is time to talk about Insight, is our business intelligence platform. It is designed for carriers and contact centers. So I hope you have a great time with us in this training. Please let me know whether you joining us. We are going to start soon. So if your first time here in our channel, in our training, I recommend to you to subscribe to our channel and to um, leave any comment you want and subscribe if you activate the notifications and all this YouTube thing. Okay, we're going to start in about 1 or 2 minutes. We are going to wait for any other person who wants to join us. And this QR code over there, this QR code, if you want to download the slides we are going to present to you today, so you are free to download it. You are going to fill a few info in a form so you can download it. So will be perfect if you want to study a little more about our insight. Okay, so welcome everyone, thanks for being here. Then we are going to start with our training. Please let me know if you have any question, if you have if you want to talk about any specific scenario. This is the perfect place to do it because this training is thinking to do this kind of thing. So let's start with our slide, with our presentation. So today we're going to talk about Khomp Insight. This is our business intelligence training solution. So this is going to be a technical training. We're going to talk about the concepts in the very beginning. We're going to do some concepts explanation, and we're going to talk about the theory of this platform, how was thinking, how was designed, and what can you do with this platform. And after about 1 hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour, we're going to go to the inside, and then I'm going to show you how to how can you get everything from this platform and how powerful it is in order to know your platform, your know your the performance of your telephone systems. So the idea, how I said before, is that you interact with us in order to achieve the expectation of this training. If you already have an insight with you, will be perfect because you can understand a little more about this solution and how can you get more information about your telephone system. If you don't have an insight, it's perfect because you are going to understand a little more what can you do and what can how can you customize to your platform and your telephone network. Okay, how I said before, I'm Miguel Celis. I'm international pre-sales engineer and also trainer for technical trainer for international markets. um, and this is the first of a series of training. We begin with a solution, with the manager one solution. We start speaking like 1 month ago. We do a training with the flow system is part of our manager. One solution is a platform of routing is a very powerful platform for routing in order to give more intelligence to your telephone system. It's perfect for contact centers, carriers, and um, telephone service providers as a corporative telephone systems. So if you didn't see that training, you can go to this channel, the same channel, YouTube, and you will see you can access to this past training that we have here in our channel. So today we are going to talk then about Insight. This is part of the manager, but is not exclusive for manager. We have all all our family of gateways can use this kind of business intelligence platform like KMG, our gateways for the contact center and carrier markets, as CAM media also, and you can have business intelligence with insight, even using the UMG, virtual SVC. So it's almost our telecom products speak with insight, and the reason why is like that is because insight is very powerful in order to help you to understand what's happening with your telephone network, no matter what kind of um, telephone network you have. So the base of this, the design, the problem we try to solve is basically is the limited vision of what's is really happening deep in your platform. So we have three common problems in monitoring the performance systems, equipment, and carriers. So, um, for example, we are going deeper. Not we are not only monitoring equipment failures. We what we are really want to do is to monitor the network performance. So equipment failures is part of this performance, but it's not everything. It's like we are identifying things that uh, a regular reportation system cannot show you. So what we are trying to do, our scope is give you the the most important information of what is happening, not only with the equipments in terms of if they are working well or not, is more about the performance. So I'm going to explain to you a little more in this presentation. The other thing is that the complexity of one of these telephone network, no matter if you are in a contact center or a carrier, is really complex. So for some um, manager of these networks, they cannot understand all the few things that you can mining in order to get the better performance of this platform. And what we do with Insight and what we are trying to solve is this problem is okay, we are going to help to you to understand your own network. Some people say, okay, but I I really understand my network because this I made myself, but sometimes it's not even to know how you can connect one equipment with other and how they operate is even things that is related with the human performance as an agent in the contact center, for example, or how is what is answering to you during a campaign. And then that's something that Insight can show you really well and can help you to understand all this complexity is going to be It's going to be easy if you see what we have, how we show you in Insight. The idea at the end of the day is to take the most assertive decisions. And how I said before, limited vision, blind spots. Some people they never saw detailed indicators of the performance indicators of your network really deep. So with this platform, we are even in a better position to give you all this information because we are connected with all the elements. If you are if you have a flow, for example, a manager one, you are going to be connected with the gateways, no matter if they use or get con gateways or not. They are going to speak with all the elements in your telephone network, so we can collect all the data because we are routing all the calls, so we can give you a performance indicator almost about everything. So we can tell you what kind of answer are you receiving and give you a statistic, very accurate statistic about this. So this limited vision problem you are going to solve with us because Insight is going to give you enough information to take any decision of to make any change with all the base you need and with all the information in order to make it really assertive. Okay, common problems in operation is things like when you start a campaign, a contact center, for example, if you have or not an answer in this campaign, what kind of answer are you receiving? If you're having, are you having a conversation in this campaign? Like your agents are speaking with someone in this case. This is really related with the first questions that I answered. So, is there a conversation? Are you already having a conversation with a human? This is really important for some contact center, for this kind of outbound contact centers. Your network start the calls, but it is connecting. Is okay. I have in the platform. I have the others. I have gateways. I have SBCs. All the SIP elements you need in this kind of infrastructure. But are you sure that you are having? You are connecting calls. Can you see and can you measure the performance of your carriers, for example? No matter what kind of carrier you have TDN carriers, or if you have a SIP carriers, it's the same. You have to take care. You want to benchmark your carriers in order to know if they are connecting the calls. So this is part of the one of the questions that you have to ask if you have this kind of operation. And another question, very important question, is what is the hangout cost of calls? It's like, okay, which side is finishing the call and what is the hangout cost of calls? Why your call was dropped? It is a normal drop, is or maybe is something abnormal, and then you have to analyze this kind of situation in order to be proactive. You don't want to be reactive in this kind of solution or this kind of contact center because 5 minutes in that you are not connecting calls the right way, or you are having drops in your calls, will be very the impact of this will be really bad. So even you can lose contracts and things like that. So you have to take care of what kind of hangout causes are you receiving from your carriers or your network. Okay, so uh, once you the people are related with this kind of platforms in infrastructure of contact center, they really know what kind of element they need in order um, to operate. It's like, okay, I need a dialer, I need gateways connected to my carriers, I need SBCs if I have a SIP carriers, I want to do my operation with safety, then I need this kind of element. But at the same time, they don't take care of these elements that give you all these performance indicators. The reason why is because all of these platforms I mentioned before, they give you reportation. They give you some reports that sometimes is a very statical report because they are not designed to give you the performance indicator of all your network because they don't have access to all this information. Okay, for example, if your dialer cannot see what's happening with all your carriers, sometimes they are not connected to the carriers, they are connected to an SBC. So they don't have information directly of what kind of hangout calls they receive, and they are not able to do a post processing that Insight can do in order to give you more information about what's happening with all the elements of your network. So in so many cases, we as a commercial people as a salesperson, you find you are in some scenarios where your customer they don't even know they need this kind of tool. Because like, okay, I have everything I need to connect my calls and to do my operation, but they are not uh, having the better result and the better performance because they cannot see the real problems they have in their networks. So a normal thing after an implantation of inside of flow or any element from com and we start this service of inside is to the first week they are like we are giving information that they didn't see before, and sometimes they give you okay this get into some denial of this information. It's like, okay, this is not true because I have my operation, I have this campaign for 5 years, and I know everything about this campaign, and that's not true. Sometimes they don't, and they never saw before all the information that we are giving of the performance of that campaign, no matter how many times they have. So this is a common thing. They they don't need they don't even need that they need a tool like that. So um, so the idea with Insight was always bringing a deep understanding of their own operations. Like, okay, I want to show you more things about your operation, what's happening with all the with every single element in your network is part of our goal with this solution. And this was thinking to it was designed in order to achieve all the requirements of some of the biggest contact centers in Brazil, as Banco Itaú, for example. We have more than 1,000 E1s uh, running in our gateways there. So I think it's one or one or two of the biggest banks there. So uh, when they start like working with Com, we start like, okay, we have connectivity equipment, we have gateways, we have interfaces, and we can you can use our solutions and hardware solutions to connect to the carriers. But in some moment, this relationship that we created give us some confidence to start speaking about, okay, how can comp improve the performance of this of your operation. And everything start with, okay, first of all, we need to see things that our dialers and our VoIP engines are not giving us. They are not giving enough information, so we need a platform that can give us more information in order to really understand what's happening with our operation. And this is how Insight was born, and how we start like thinking, okay, what are the goals of this platform? What we want to achieve with that? So complexity of networks is part of the day. We are technicals people that are technical really understand what kind of complexity I'm talking about. We have a lot of equipment with different brands, with different technologies. They are interoperating between them. They are some of these are like redundant. Some of others are exclusive. So the licenses in these systems are completely different. The kind of features that some of these equipment have, and some other they don't have the same features. So complexity is part of what we is part of our day. So have like multiple layers is part of the common practice of this kind of business, because it's normal. It's like, okay, I don't want to be with only one brand, because if one day one of my dealers fail and all my dealers are the same brand, they are all. I'm going to have my operation in really real trouble. So what we are looking is, okay, we can analyze no matter what brand is your dealer, or who is the vendor of your dealer, no matter what, if you have a Genesis, or you have an Altitude, or you have a Vocalcom, or whatever you have. I'm not talking specifically of any platform. I want to be very general, but Insight is we have a lot of cases of success working with all these elements and giving uh, really deep information about the performance, not only of the dealer, of, is also the performance of the roads, of the campaigns, of the carriers, even with if they use different kind of signaling as TDM or C. So when you have all this panoramic vision, it's like, okay, if I have a reputation system inside our dealer, they are going to give you the performance that of their service. But if you want to have a panoramic vision of what's happening with all your network, you have to have something that is in the border, and then can give you all the post processing in order to give you these performance indicators. So that's the idea of Insight. And every day, contact center carriers integrators have challenges, different challenges, and sometimes are technical challenges, sometimes are performance challenges. So it's very important to have this kind of tool that can really establish a relationship between you and your network platform in order to understand really well what's happening. So you have the confidence to scale and to um, be assertive in the time of take decisions. So what we do is compiling of this information, collecting all this information, doing a post processing in order to find the better indicators, performance indicators, and then give to you in a dashboard in a graphical way, so your training curve will be really really fast, and even person that are not related with TI, like supervisors or managers or people who are not in the technical things, can understand easily what is happening with the platform, with the telephone platform. So and then and also this is not thinking to be okay, this is a reportation system, so I can export to a PDF and I can print it and I can give to my boss and say, okay, this is what the system give me. Now this is even deeper because you have the possibility of customize all the filters in order to give you very detailed information, or even you can create users in order to give to these users the possibility to found what they want. Sometimes you don't want to this user is the supervisor for uh, an amount of specific campaigns, and then you don't want to give access to the performance of the platform of all of your operation, the complete operation of the contact center or the carrier. So you can create this, you can give different differentiated accounts to the people who are going to see what's happening with your platform network. Okay, how I said before, you have the option to see, like you can go really really deep to the micro things. You can see, okay, I want to check. You can build a filter to be really specific about a campaign, about a road, about a carrier, and for example, in a time window or for this kind of destination, you can analyze the hangout causes in a carrier. This is what we call, we say, okay, this is micro because you are going really deep, really specific, but also you have the option to have this panoramic view of your platform. So it's like, okay, you can see the platform like 1 kilometer height, or you can go 1 meter. This is very important in order to understand all these little things that sometimes you don't have tools that give you that information. So this is part of what insights do. And at the end, the real challenge is the to improve performance. So to, what you really want to achieve is, okay, I want to do more with the same thing that I have. Sometimes you can do even more with what you have. You don't need to 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 get new dialers or get new gateways or to scale your SIP trunks to connect more people. Sometimes what you really need is to understand what's happening with your platform and do some tuning in order uh, to get the best results with the same thing that you already have. So um, the idea is that once you finish this training and you have an insight, you are going to know how to where are you going to click in order to get the result on the information you need. Because okay, all the every single every single platform, every single business have their own expectation, have their own behavior. So it's very important that you that understand your business are the one who are doing the consultations directly. It's what we can do here in our support team and or our implementation team. Okay, we can. This is your insight. This is your domain. This is your username. You are going to be admin. And but at the end, if you are not going all time to the insight is not going to give you that information because you are not consulting the information the right way. So this training is more about how to create your own filters in order to understand what's happening with your network. But the one who has to do the questions are you. You have to go to the inside, you have to create the triggers, you have to do the filters, you can save your own filters, you can transfer these filters to some users if you want, for example, the CEO of the company see a specific performance indicator, you can save it and you can share it. But at the end, you really need to understand what can you do with insight and then start like okay trying to find how to get this information the of the, out of your platform. Okay, is this is how looks a common um, telephone system topology, and how you see is really complex. You have a lot of VoIP engines today. For example, we don't call it PBX anymore. We are talking about communication, UC, unified communication. But at the same time, in a platform, in a contact center platform, you have something like dialers. You can have a lot of dialers from different brands. And another things like ULA IVRs. You, you can have IVRs from different vendors too, and gateways from different vendors. These here are like comp gateways, but not necessarily have to be comp gateways. You can have any other brand gateways. And the thing is that here in the flow, you can have all this communication. The flow are routing all this communication, all out of these calls. So the flow he adds like a routing system, but also they are collecting and sending all this information to the inside. That is a cloud solution. This is the cloud, so this is not going to be in a local virtual machine or in a local instance in your network. This is going to be at cloud. We are going to provide to you all what you need to start with Insight. The flow, we have different versions, but the flow You can use it, install it in a physical machine or in a virtualized machine or even in cloud. So um, our routing system is very flexible. You have different options uh, to install to install and use the flow. And these are not our analytics, but this is a really, really good um, tool feature that you have on Flow. So if you activate analytics, you are going to see is a completely new world of possibilities because you are going to really understand what's happening in your campaigns and in your operations in terms of who is answered to you. And even better is not only classification, you can also have um, you can take decisions, you can create profiles in order to connect the calls, to drop the calls, to even play back a message, to notify, to ignore. So you have so many actions you can execute after a classification. Is this everything is going to be described in a profile, in analytics profile, and all the performance of this set one this is really you are going to see all these performance indicators at Insight. So Insight is going to be the dashboard of everything is happening with all this complexity. And everything happens between carriers, between the gateways, between the SBCs, between the dialers and the buoy engines is going to be collected by the flow, and the flow is going to send to the Insight. So the Insight is going to show you in a graphical way, in a dashboard, everything about what's happening in this complex telephone system. Even if they use different protocols, for example, here you have a gateway that uses TDM, you have a gateway that uses GSM. So the flow only speaks SIP, but the flow can collect information about the TDM hangout causes that give this KNG. So, for example, if you understand a little more, this is a little more technical. If you understand how TDM signaling works, you will see that is a completely different set of numbers than SIP because actually SIP is not only a telephone protocol. It's also is a protocol for sessionization. So you can use it for video, you can use it for instant messaging, you can use it for remote sharing control of a computer, whatever to imply session. You can use SIP as yeah as this protocol, but at this in TDM is completely different. You have different houses, you have different signaling system, you have a it's a digital telephone method, so you need synchrony is something that you don't need in SIB. SIB is completely asynchronous, so it's very important to understand what's happening even with the TDM, and sometimes don't even your E1s or T1s are not connected to the carrier only. Maybe you have something that is even with that legacy PBX. You want to analyze what's happening with that legacy PBX. So it's really important to get all this information. So I don't want to know only what's happening with the gateway in terms of SIP. I want to see what's happening with the E1, T1, TDN part of the gateway too. Okay, perfect. I want to go back to our QR code in order if you want to download our slides. I want to see who is here in our chat. Luciano, good morning, Luciano. Thanks for being here. Luciano is part of the Comp team. And please let me know if you have any question, if you have um, to to go in deep in any of our scenarios. If you have a scenario, you have let me know if you already have insight or if you are thinking to acquire one of our insight. So this is what the chat is for. Okay, let's go back to our slides. And now we have this another point of view of what we have here in Insight is the geographical point of view. So we can show you different regions. This is the Brazilian map. So it's really common in countries as Brazil or even in Colombia that you have a carrier that is really good for some region. The performance of this region is really well is completely different from other regions. Sometimes it's because they have more infrastructure in that region. For example, EPM in Medellin is really good because EPM is Empresas Públicas de Medellin. So it's normal. They have infrastructure, they have equipment, they have network there. So if you compare the performance of EPM when you go to a campaign that could be in Bogota, for example, Bogota had ETV, Empresas de Telecomunicaciones de Bogota, and this is the best carrier in that city. So how I know what's the performance of my carrier for each region of my operation. So this is really important because sometimes you have to acquire a different symptom from a different carrier in order to have the better performance results. And this is something that you cannot compare if you don't have a tool as an insight because you need to meter all this performance and then you have to understand okay what's the difference between carriers in order to just justify something that is in so many cases can make the cost of your solution expensive. So you need to know if really worth it. It's like okay, is the best option is to have a different carrier for that region because that carrier are connecting more more calls. Okay, perfect. But you have to. It's not. Is you cannot take that decision only in the sensation that okay, this card is not that good there. You have to really understand. You have to try the possibility to mirror that, and then you can justify. Okay, this is a better carrier. I'm going to keep this guy and I'm going to not to continue giving operation that carrier because that carrier is not good in that region. That's something that you can understand really well with our insight. Okay, and in order to understand the next part of the training, the practical part of the training, we need to understand some elements that are part of our system design. So, in this part of how we analyze data and how what concepts we really believe that are the best in order um, to calculate these performance indicators. So we have something like attributes of the call, attribute the call, so things like direction of the call, traffic profile, the cause of shutdown in case you have an abnormal finish of the call. You have things like origin of termination. You have to understand how it's like okay, since that what point that will achieve who in that campaign. So this is really important to understand what reach that call. And the other thing is call classification that is related with audio and what's answering to you in that call. Okay, I have a human and I have a fax, or I have, I don't know, interception message, voicemail. And but the important thing is to really get the information of what is answering to you in your campaigns. You have statistics for that. So after that, you can decide. Okay, I I I need to do some options for this kind of calls. For example, voicemail calls are making me losing my time, losing time of my agents. So I prefer to drop that calls in the very beginning of this message. So my queue are not going to send the calls to the agents. So you can understand really well how what's the amount of calls are going to voicemail with this um, analysis. Okay, we have some elements that we define as entities of our system of the insight, and there's things like services. Normally, services are related with void engines like PBXs and dialers, IVRs, and things that elements that start calls. So services keep that in mind as the kind of element that start calls. Okay, we have campaigns that are logical uh, part of an operation. It's a logical part of operation because you can have a campaign based in a single service, or maybe you have a campaign that are operating in two or three different dealers. So that's what I say. Okay, this is logical. It's not physical, as the services normally is physical. It's like okay, or maybe not physical, but is a dialer or a voice engine, and these normally are physical. But you have to understand a campaign is a logical separation of your operation. Okay, you have gateways, the gateways or SBCs, any element that connects to you to another telephone network, no matter what kind of signaling or technology that you use. You have you have different gateways, and it's clear it's really normal to have different brands, different vendors of your network. Okay, I have an audio code, I have an Woma, I have a comp. Okay, but at the end, you need to measure the performance of these elements so you can understand, okay, this is connecting me the right way, and you can even uh, typify what kind of expectation you have for each element. For example, how many of you can really know what is the cap of your carrier, or what's the cap of the caps called attempts per second of your gateways? How many call tentative can support your gateways in 1 second? How many bytes I can send to a gateway, for example? This is something that for more people are completely unknown. It's okay. I don't I don't even know that exists something like caps. Like, what is cap? It's call a 10 per second, but what does that mean? And why is it different from simultaneous call? Because some people say, okay, I have a Citron, I have a virtual SVC, or I have a session border controller, and my operation can handle 300 simultaneous calls. But no one never explained to you that these 300 calls that you can make, you have a maximum capacity to to dial these 300 simultaneous calls. For example, okay, the caps of this SBC, or the cap of this gateway are 15 calls in bytes per second, 15 bytes per second. So you cannot establish more than 15 calls per second in the better case. So in order to achieve that 300 simultaneous calls, you will need at least 20 seconds to get that. Then this is something that you didn't know before. So, okay, the insight is going to give you, okay, you are connecting at this moment, you are connecting 15 calls, because if you put a number, a faster number for caps, you are only connecting 16. So you have to configure, set up everything in your network in order to achieve that 15. Not are not 20, are not 30, are 15, because Insight is giving to you that number. Okay, this is the maximum your carrier supports to send invites to that network operation. So it's really important to understand these kind of little things that are not that little, because it's really important. Okay, I need to know if why is happening this in my network, and what is the capability of my equipment and my carriers. This is something that Insight can helps you a lot. And another thing you have is networks. How I said before, normally are operators or carriers, and you have regions, as I explained in the last slide. Okay, now we are going to talk about performance indicators. This is very really important to understand. This is the base of what we call indicators, performance indicators. So this is going to explain you a lot of things about your operation. If you understand the concept and you go to the insight and check this for your filters, for example, for a campaign, for a region, for dial plane, or or for a gateway, you really you're going to really understand what's happening with the operation. So we have caps, how I said before, called attempts per second, network effectiveness ratio. That is okay. How many calls are routing your carrier, for example? You need to know that. You need to know. Okay, I'm sending 100 calls. How many calls of these are being routing for my carrier? And sometimes the same campaign, different carriers have different performance. Some carriers are connecting more calls than the other carrier. Okay, these carriers are better in this region than the other one, but can you support that with numbers? Okay, with Insight you can see that. You can really see the numbers. So that's why it's really important to understand these performance indicators. Another one is answer success ratio. Is how many connections you have. Okay, I said before. Okay, you have 100 calls. 30 calls are being routing for my carrier, and 15 calls are being connecting. They receive a 200. Okay, they are actually they are connect. If you use analytics and you define a profile, analytics profile, even you can know that okay, these 15 calls are, I want to know if they are connecting because they are speaking with someone. Okay, I have a human there. So you can see that in our insight. Okay, you have one of these 100 calls, we have 30 network effectiveness ratio, and you have 15 answer success ratio, and 10 of these calls are speaking with human. And this detailed vision of what's happening, only you cannot have that with a simple reputation system in a dialogue. You need more complex tools that can have this panoramic vision. For that calls that are answered, they are, you can calculate, for example, the average call duration. So you can see, okay, I have a campaign, I'm selling, I don't know, I'm selling touristic plans, and I need to know if is the time of this campaign, the average of this campaign are enough to the to you need to complete an script, a selling script. So I need to understand. Okay, I we designed a selling script or selling speech to sell this touristic plane in, I don't know, 45 seconds, 1 minute. The probability of close the sale is bigger than when you have like, okay, this average call duration is only 15 seconds, 10 seconds. That means that the person are that are receiving the call is only like, okay, no, I don't need that, thank you, and are dropping the call. So this is very important because sometimes you can identify problems not only in your speech, maybe could be even in your database. Okay, in the database of your campaign. Okay, I'm trying to sell a touristic plan for someone who doesn't have enough money to use this kind of service. That could be possible. And you have to, it's very important to say utilization and occupation, because I need to know if my agents are working, or they are speaking with someone, and what kind of results I'm having of this utilization of the network, of the occupation of my agents. So it's really important to check this performance indicator too. Okay, another thing is perspective. Okay, from where I'm seeing this information is not the same when you say, okay, I want to see what is happening with my operation, but I will have the perspective of the region. The geographic analysis will be completely different. If I want to analyze, for example, in terms of average call duration, what it means if I have, how I said before, it's like if I have a call with the average call duration with 30 seconds, or if I have a calls with 1 minute, it's completely different. It's a completely different perspective than region. Or if you have, if you want to analyze hunger causes in order to understand what's happening with your operation, will be completely different. So it's a different perspective, but also each one of these perspectives are valid and give you a lot of information. So it's really important to understand that you have different perspective in insight. And this is like this is a common main dashboard you will see when we log into our insight. And I'm going to explain there because it's better than here in the slide. Okay, you have something like how many calls you are receiving. This will be in the center, this pie chart you have there. And after that, you are going to see which carriers are we using. Sorry for that, the slide is in Portuguese, but you are going to see, okay, which carrier we are using, which regions are we using, and you can see, okay, this is working as you expect, or this is completely different as you expect. So it's really important to see, to analyze. Sometimes you can compare one of these KPIs, these performance indicators, with the ones you have in your own dealer, for example. Okay, this is the same that my dealer are giving to me. Some dealers give you CPS, is something almost the same that CAPS, but CAPS is even more complex because call attempts is different than uh, call per seconds. So we give you different numbers in some cases for these indicators, but some cases the indicators are not the same. You have to understand what is the difference between what your dealer or your SBC give you in their reports and what you are achieving here in Insight. That is something that is in real time. That's really important to understand. Insight is a real time. So you don't have the option to export to a PDF because, okay, what kind of, what do you want to do? Okay, you don't need to export that information. This is a business intelligence platform. You don't need to export that. Okay, another thing that is relatively new in our insight in almost everything in our um, connectivity equipments and our gateways, that every gateway, every single gateway in our family lines of products are giving to you right now information about the quality of the audio in that information, in that campaigns or in that calls. I think calls is a better word for that. So that means that, for example, if you can see in real time how is performing a carrier in a campaign, if that quality that they are giving to you is enough to have a good result in terms of audio. Okay, this even you can see uh, which LED are you like um, sizing. It's like, okay, you have a statistic of the quality of the call for each single leg of that call. You see, okay, I have what I'm listening, uh, what I'm saying. So and all this information is going to the inside. So at the end, this information is very important in order to decide to have the decision. Okay, I'm going to change this. This is not working well for me. I'm going to use another carrier. This is something that you will want to know if some campaign are not having a good audio quality. Other thing is channel occupation. And this is very important too, because not only channel occupation is related with the Asian occupation too. It's not completely, it have like proportional. It's not the same, but is proportional. So it's very important to see what how is my channel occupation, and this is something that Insight can give it to you at real time. Okay, another characteristic of Insight is the possibility to have a multi-tenant solution. So you will have you as a service provider, you can, for example, if you are a carrier or if you are a contact center, if you are renting, for example, a dealer and you want to give this information to your customer, you can use something like an insight with different user logins, so you can separate in these user attributes, okay, which regions can see that username and user. So you can see, for example, which gateways, which operation, which campaigns. So you can define everything they can see in order to separate from one customer to other customer, or even maybe it's the same customer but has different persons. So you have different attributes for these logins. So that includes carriers, integrator, partners, and you can monitor different things. And everything is going to be hosted in the same instance. So you have multiple user and multiple customers with the same instance. That helps you with the to pay less for these services. But at the end, you can provide something that will uh, add a lot of value to your customer. To have all this information. Okay, for example, you are sending a zip trunk, you are selling a zip trunk, but at the same time you are giving this information. Okay, I'm giving to you all this information about what's happening with the performance of your network. Okay, another thing that I already talked about was the TDN information. You have different kind of hangout courses between different signaling technologies. So here you have something like TDM. You have answer that are related with the word of R2 or ICDN, and you won't lose all the richness that give you this information. You don't want to get uh, a 404 from your gateway if you have a different. This 404 can have 10 different hangout causes in the world of TDM. So yes, you really want to have all the verbosity that if you TDM word, that because TDM signaling protocols are thinking with telephone in mind, not only with initiation protocol as the main goal. So you won't lose all this information. This is something really nice because all this information are going to keep in your records inside. Okay, yeah, another thing that is very related with the flow and with the manager is the call and mission controls uh, politics that you can define in the flow. For example, okay, how many calls I want to send or receive from each carrier, and then your flow is going to work as a limiter. So if they receive more invites than the carrier can handle in terms of simultaneous calls or in terms of caps, call attempt per seconds calls, uh, this is going to appear in the CDR. So this call is not going to be complete, but it's going to be report to the insight. So you can identify if the sizing of the number of channels or maybe the caps in this carrier well are well calculated or not. Maybe you need to recalculate that and say, okay, I need more simultaneous calls for this carrier because in this peak of my operation, the call and mission control are giving me too uh, too high um, the performance indicators say, okay, you are missing the possibility to achieve more person because you don't have enough simultaneous call trunks. And how I said before, you have different family lines in the com world. We have the UNG, User Media Gateway family. We have the KMG, and we have in both of our generation the MS or one, and you have the Kamidia 2. So all these families of gateways are compatible with Insight. And also another software solution as virtual SBC, also from us, the manager one I said before, and even open source platforms as Asterisk that are completely compatible with um, Insight. That means that you don't need to acquire uh, any other gateway to make it to see or what Insight can meter for you. And one of the most common question is, okay, Miguel, I have an operation. I have my all my equipments are complete. I have all the gateways I need. I have my carriers. I have my dialers. Everything is complete. I don't need anything else. But I want to use Insight. How I use Insight if I don't have equipment from Khomp? And before the flow, that was really difficult. Okay, so many times we didn't have an option to provide to to our customer in order to give that information if they don't use a KNG, a UNG, or a camera media or something like that. But today our flow can provide to you a very simple way to have all this information, because you can create a virtual machine, you can install it in a physical server, so you will have this. The flow will act as the routing system, the main routing system, and this flow is going to collect all the information in order to populate the insight, so the insight can give you all the performance indicator that I show you today. Another important thing is notifications and triggers. So we can define in our platform some scenarios based in all the indicators I said before, as the NER, as the ACR or CAPS or average coloration. So you can establish what kind of this combination of indicators you have to take care. For example, you don't want to lose net. If you have a campaign and the net of this campaign is not going well, do you want to receive a notification for that, so you can act in a proactive way to make the impacts get lower than if you are not watching what's happening with these indicators. So you can create any triggers you want, so you can you will be the insight is going to provide you an alert, and even when some of these politics, the notification and trigger politics are getting violated, okay, or they are they are achieving a bad number, so they are going to notify this. Okay, we have the Insight Contact Pro. The Insight Contact Pro is very is designed and executed to be part of the contact center work. So this is going to make sense with if you use the insights for a contact center platform, because we have an API that can interact with different vendors, with different dialers, so you can create a custom um, uh, I don't know, custom performance indicator in order to provide a most precise or accuracy analysis. Then this is really well because you can share information with this dealer related with the performance of the humans, of the agents, for example. So this is something that is new in our insight, but you have to know that this is licenses. So if you think that you need the information, that contact the insight is contact pro is giving a big value, that we are sure that is that that is it is. You can contract this license, so you will have the access to the API, and you can start like developing this kind of integration. Okay, something like you can have this feedback for the agent report at the end of the call. For example, if there were a sale, advanced sleep, a rescheduling, no interest on the part of the customer. Okay, have different scenarios. You can see productive and unproductive calls. You can hit rates. You can see CPC and conversion. Okay, you can see service levels, average agent talk time, queue time. I think this is more a commercial speech, but the important thing is that we have a pro version that is really related with the contact center world. So if you want to get a deeper integration with your contact center platform, I think it's a really good option to contract the inside contact. You have a deeper or more detailed is this dashboard, so you can see more information about what's going on with your agents. So it's very interesting. So here you can see the ranking of agents. You will have like 12 agents. So you can see the performance of 12 of your better agents, 12 of your worst agents. So in order to correct whatever they need to improve the performance. Perfect. This is the last part of our theoric part of this training. I hope you are finding this information uh, good to all of you, to your expectation. I'm going to put one more time my camera. You have this here. Okay, here you have the QR code. So if you want to download the slides, is perfectly possible to get all that um, content that we prepare for you. So if you have any other question, I'm going to show you now. I'm going to show you the insight, so you can see in a practical way how can you get and configure your own filters to achieve what I said before. It's like start like okay, um, asking the right question in order to get the right information to your for your from your contact center. So let me go back here. I'm going to show you now. Let me see if everything is going well. Perfect. Okay. Once you get to the inside, I'm going to show you. I'm going to log out here. I'm going to do some log out here so I can use a minute. Okay. Okay. I want to show you how I want to change the languages. Let me change the resolution of this. Okay, I found it. Admin. I'm going to log out. I'm going to log in with admin, uh, but I'm going here. I'm going in English, and now I am English in the platform. So I have this. This is the main dashboard. You will see this is the main dashboard of the inside. You will see this chat, this pie chart. So this is everything is happening with your platform in the last hour. You can see here. You can see here 1 hour. So in this left side, you are going to see the map of this is a demo that we use for training. So you can see that you have here you have different elements. All these pointers are could be a gateway or could be the flow or could be any element that is collecting information. For example, this is a Camedia, this is another Camedia, this is a KNG, is a gateway, this is another. So all these elements are collecting information and sending to this insight. And this insight, how I said before, this is in cloud. So all no matter what, where you are, no matter where you are, you to have access to this platform because everything is all over internet. So you can see in your computer, in your tablet, or anything you have to see all this information. And this pie chart is giving to you everything is happening with the operation. But right now, this is a panoramic view. I'm not doing any insight right now because like okay, I'm not going to to the specification. But let me explain to you what you can find here. For example, here you will see the total amount of calls today. We are very close to 1 million of calls. So you have, for example, you have the NER2, you have network effectiveness ratio of all the operation is 7 is 16. Sorry, is is almost is almost 67%. I'm not really good with numbers. Answer success ratio is 26% of the calls. As I said before, it's the net will be always higher than the ASR, the answer success ratio, because you are routing more calls that you are receiving answers for that call. So it's really normal to have this kind of performance. You have, for example, an average call duration of these, the one who are speaking with humans, you have at 31 seconds. You have a total caps of 50 caps per second, call attempts per second, and a total cost of this operation has been almost 300 reais, the currency of Brazil. So this is your this is your reality. Let me say that in that terms of your operation, the last hour. And how can I get more? How can I get customize this dashboard? I want to see okay. I want to see a different approach. I want to see a different scenario. So you can go here to filters and then you can select here different kind of incoming outgoing. So you can create your own filter. For example, I only want to analyze incoming calls. I don't want to analyze just 1 hour. I want 4 hours. And maybe it's the same day, but maybe for by default it's today, but maybe you have a different week, a different hour, so you can customize this. Campaigns, you can select the specific campaign you want. You have different campaigns, you have different regions, for example. Say, okay, I only want to analyze what is happening in Sao Paulo, and you can select Sao Paulo, they are going to add all the dial plan numbers, different dial plan numbers, or maybe you want to analyze a dialer. Okay, I want to use a different dialer. In that case, this cador is dialer, or as single specific gateway. I show you that we have five gateways. Right now we have five gateways, different elements, but in the system exists before more than five, but five the five gateways are the ones who right now are sending information and collecting information to our insight. So you will going to have a different gateways, or for example, I want to see, okay, I just want to analyze Embratel. I want to analyze Embratel in Sao Paulo, incoming calls from Embratel in Sao Paulo. And I'm going to say, okay, 2 hours, 4 hours maybe could take some time to analyze. Okay, perfect. Let me see if I apply this filter, you see how now the what we ask to the system is completely different. So you can see here change everything in this filter. Okay, this filter we don't have, maybe we don't have inbound call from Embratel. Let me maybe I'm analyzing an incoming calls. This is not incoming operation clear. See what happens. Okay, maybe it's related. Okay, this is incoming call. I will put one more time. Sao Paulo. Okay, we don't have incoming operation, but maybe we have. I'm going to filter for the region of Sao Paulo one more time. Okay, say okay. It's only outgoing operation, and this is Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo. Okay, I can create, and everything is going out by Embraer. Apply. See what's happening. Everything here is in the last 2 hours, and this information is at the real time. This is changing every 30 seconds. Is going to change. We have different numbers every 30 seconds. So we have here different for example, this is a course that have a normal code clearing. So we have a different hangout causes. We have, for example, this is not completely called by invalid numbers, strong line overflow. Let me show you this call classification, no speech, different announcement. So this is the result of the classification of the last 2 hours in these campaigns related with Sao Paulo that use the operator Embratel, the carrier Embratel, as the main carrier. So if I want to analyze, for example, I want to go to traffic profiles. Okay, before to do that, I want to show you that here we have a different numbers. I'm going to remove the classification, and for that specific filter you have this number, all these numbers that you have here. It's really nice because you can create your own filters, you can save your own filters, and you will check what you really need to see. You can see, for example, this kind of filter that give you that an estimation of this cost for is 1,700 reais approximately. So you can really approximate whatever you need to check in a very specific way. Another thing I want to show you is the most. You can see the quality of the calls of that. What is the give you the this is normal. The most is a number between 1 and 5. You will never achieve 5. Normally is between these numbers, 3 and 4.5, maybe. So this is a very good operation. This is a very good operation to have a very good quality. This is not good. This is not good. This is a really bad symptom. So okay, Embratel ISDN. This is not giving me a good quality, good conversational quality, or a good listen quality. These calls are this is something that you don't want to see in your career. But you can see, okay, what's the performance of my dialers and what's the performance of my networks, of my carriers. So this most is a real time, really good in order to take decisions about which carrier are you want to use for any specific campaign. Okay, we have uh, we have information about business. It's really good too. You can see, okay, what kind of calls are finished with success, what other are being rejected, what other the customer says, okay, do you want to try again? What calls you don't have any contact. So this is about business. These are a performance indicator that is related with the business indicators. We have something that we call knock. This is more related with the technical thing. It's like, okay, I want to see the performance of my gateways, or what is happening if they have, for example, they use links, TDM links. If the TDM links are okay or have any problem, I'm going to remove the filter of Embratel just to have more information. Embratel could be a zip trunk, so I don't have information on the TDM. So going back to knock, we have more than now we have more gateways. Some of these gateways, how I said before, we have 5 gateways that are working right now, but also you have another gateways that we don't have the status. Like, okay, this is not online. So you can see the total amount of calls of these 5 gateway are processed today. This is only for outbound. Maybe we'll have a gateway doing inbound, but you can see all the indicators of performance for that filter. You can see more information about the gateways. How I said before, these are 4, but this, remembering this is an outbound operation. Maybe you have one gateway for inbound operation. You have another menu that is tendencies, and this is going to show you as an histogram of exactly of the NER, of the caps, of the ECR. Here are caps, the answer sensor ratio, the NER. A lot of information about all the history in the last 2 hours, how that indicators behave in the last 2 hours. This is also one of my favorite features of this system, because you can create filters, or you can create comparisons. I only have one nigware. I need to add another service. For example, let me see if I can. Okay, I'm going to get one more carrier, and you can create these comparisons in order to see the performance of these two carriers. Because I select two carriers, Embratel y Operadora SID, so I can see the participation of the in the total amount of calls. I can see there they have almost the same there. They have the answer session ratio of the Operadora SID is higher than the Embratel thing. And this benchmark is going to let me know if I'm using the best option for my operation. So maybe I can compare two or even three carriers and understand, okay, this is a better carrier. I'm going to use this because it's giving me a better response performance. Okay, you can see this menu is a really nice tool, because I can see, okay, I want to see is of this filter the 100% they are going. These are giving me all the indicators of all my performance in these two operators, two carriers, and you can see after that, you can see how is the participation of each carrier and which is the performance. For example, this Embratel has been processed the 83% of all the calls in the last 2 hours, but this is only the 66% of the cost. So if you see here, you can see, okay, Operadora SIP have been processed almost 17% of the calls, but you have a higher rate of cost. That the cost is 33% of the calls. So in any case, it is even better to have to keep dialing via Embratel, because it's cheaper. It's cheaper. You have more calls and it's less cost. So cost is a good way to decide the roads. So you can have an estimation the last 2 hours you have been saved a lot of money. If you keep dialing by Embratel, will be better, and the quality of Embratel is good too. The MOS is was good, we saw before, and for the majority of calls, but you can change this tool. You can decide another. If this change, you can um, you can alter the routes and return to the base option of um, your dialing. You can see traffic profile too. Okay, this is related. Okay, which is the destination? Okay, this is local calls or national calls or are international calls. You can see that in dashboard, and you can see by network or by service or by gateway. You can alter this filter anytime you need, so you can see different type of um, different types of services. Okay, this is one of my favorite too because you can see, for example, when you are doing an outbound campaign, you will you want to see, okay, where I'm where I'm calling. For example, I decided only to analyze the state of Sao Paulo, but also here I can see, okay, which is the distribution of these outbound calls. If also the city of Sao Paulo is in 3,000 calls almost, and we have a different distribution. And if I go like more inside, see all the distribution, and this will be the real distribution of the calls. And I can change the analysis. For example, I can use, for example, using the net as indicator. They give me the net. That is going to give me in percentage, in percent, and for example, in costs. This is very nice because I can see the cost of the amount of percent, the percentual of these costs in for all these calls in the campaign. So if I'm going to remove this region, and you will see what's happening with this Embratel and Operadora SIP with that dialer in all Brazil. Okay, this dialer is using Embratel and Operadora SIP to call to make all these calls here at Brazil. I'm going to put one more time total calls. I remove the indicator of cost, and then I can see the total amount of calls. São Paulo still has the biggest number because it's a city with a lot of people, so it's normal. So this geographic is very interesting if you want to analyze by region. Okay, where I'm calling, how is the performance of that. You have another menu, you have occupation, you have a you have an average of occupation, and you have a peak of occupation. This is like an histogram, so you can see what's happening in the last 2 hours. And you have this is related with the network, but you can see even with services and gateways and campaigns too. Okay, this is an alert. Are too many campaigns, they cannot graphic in 24 different campaigns for your at the same time. So this is like a warning. And even you can see your regions the same. I have 67 regions, so many regions to graphic in this dashboard. They ask you to do a better filter for that. Okay, you have classification, and this is really nice. I really love that classification because okay, this is not doing any classification. This dialer, I'm not doing any classification. I'm going to remove the dialer in order to find some calls. If okay, we found that some other services um, are using these carriers, and they are doing so. The classification here, I can see how many calls was classified as human, show you answer, or as a human answer. And 95% have been classified as machine, and 75% of that machine have been voiced. So you have the level of contacting is very low, but this is a normal number. It's very common to find this kind of behavior in a contact center. You have tickets too. You have tickets, and you can see every single call, which direction was hung at the call. We have different start time, begin of audio if they have a begin of audio, if they connect the call, and total call duration time. So I have a lot of information in the tickets: destination number, origin number, traffic profile, area code, which gateway process the call, which service start the call, and which carrier uh, do the ending of the call, and which hangout calls was received from the network. So in this case, it was a normal hangout call, so 200. Okay, you will see here. You will see the description of this hangout calls. Okay, now you have this approach is based in cost, what is really nice because you can see what is happening with with the cost of your operation in real time. So if you want to check, for example, okay, I want to see how much cost me a campaign in the last hour in the day at real time, you can see that. And and then you can expect, okay, I can really know what amount of um, what will be the cost of my campaigns before to receive the bill, the telephone bill. So I can say, okay, this cost me any number of money, so I can expect what I'm going to receive from my carrier in that bill. Okay, we have control from any access. For example, in this we have system user. We can configure everything related with users in my insight. Even I can create access group, user profiles, users, and this is where I'm going to create in this menu. I'm going to create all these multi-tenant logins in order to separate what kind of login I want to my user have access. For example, which regions, which gateways, which services. This is something I'm going to find in this part of the dashboard. We have another parameters too. You can have different configurations here in our system, different campaigns, gateway, network services. So this is where you can add campaigns. You can add, for example, you can add networks, and this is to insight understand which is what is receiving from the gateways or from the flow. But this is already configured. You have all the campaigns we are processing here, all the gateways. So this is something that normally our implementation team or our support team is going to help to you to do the best configuration of your system. We have another settings here, for example, session network monitor protocol, simple network monitor protocol, sorry. So you can configure like SMP server here. So the inside is going to um, receive information from that server, and the inside is going to use that information in order to process another indicators. So it's important you have that to configure here. Help help is going to let you understand a little more about our insight. It's very flat. You have more in the documentation, but also you have the option to contact me or to contact our support team. So feel free to contact us anytime you need. I'm going to finish here. I think it's time to finish our training. I hope you have a great time and you learned a lot with me today. I'm really happy to all the people who join us to this training. I'm Miguel Celis one more time. I'm pre-sales engineer here at Com. My email is miguel@com.com. If you need to ask any other commercial question, you can contact to igor@com.com. So if you have any question about prices or any other commercial condition, you can contact Igor. Igor is going to help you with everything you need in the sales part. He is the sales international sales manager, so Igor will be happy to help you in everything you need about this. If you need more information about the technical part, you can contact me, miguel@com.com, miguel@com.com, or if you want to write us to academy at com.com if you maybe want a better explanation of any of the things we talk about today. Okay, one more time, thanks for being here, for being part of our training. I hope you have a great time with me and see you in the next time. Okay, bye bye.